Hello.
Hello, everyone, and ho 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 to all of you. Merry Christmas, all that stuff. Listen, we'll get the elephant in the room right away. Yes, it is no longer Christmas if you are Eastern time, but you know what? Not all of us are Eastern time on this podcast, so we're going to focus on Pacific Standard Time, in which it is still Christmas, so we can still say Merry Christmas to all of
Yeah,
you. Hope you're all having
it's still
really great. Hmm?
it's still Christmas on Central, Mountain, Pacific, Alaska, and Hawaii.
Yeah. Yes, that's a lot of time zones, but yes, we are here to for the next episode of a conversation with Kely. Also, our final podcast of 2023, which is kind of crazy to think about that we're ending on this note. And we're very excited to talk about this episode and everything that went down within the Reindeer Games finale. But before we do that, I'm here, my lovely, beautiful co-host Allie. How are you doing on this fine Christmas day?
I'm doing well. I didn't even leave my house today. I didn't even go for a walk. I literally just got up and just obviously woke up and everything, then had some breakfast, opened gifts with my mom and stepdad, and then just chilled, watched the Princess Switches, and then two of my coworker friends came over and had dinner and dessert with us, and we opened some gifts too. And then other than that, just chilled, watching my Era's rental, and just had such a chill Christmas, and it was really nice. And I hope everyone is having a safe and amazing Christmas, holiday, everything.
Yes, but I didn't do. I mean, I went to my family's house today, and that was a lot of fun. I got this shirt. I got this elf shirt, which is why you can see I changed it up a little bit. I know it's the finale, but here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it. The first 5 episodes were leading up to the Reindeer Games, and this is the Reindeer Games, so we got to change up the look a little bit. We're not just gonna wear that itchy holiday sweater all the time. So instead, I'm wearing this. I got a new Santa hat. So let's go, baby. We're ready for the Reindeer Games. Yeah, I'm very excited to.
Also, I forgot to plug in my microphone.
That's fine. You can just do that now. But yeah. So I guess we'll get into kind of our expectations for this finale overall, and kind of what we were expecting. I'll say right off the bat, I've really enjoyed this show a lot so far. I think 6 episodes very much was the best. Sort of the best possible amount for this show. I think they had just enough to where we really never got sick of this, but also still left us wanting just a little bit more. I think they did a really good job with that here. But I will say, considering how episode 5 went, I didn't really know what to expect going into this one. I was really worried it was just going to be a bunch of comps, and there really wasn't going to be a lot to talk about. And listen, for the most part, yes, that's what this was, but it was still a really exciting and very unpredictable finale. And again, I have to bring this up because we've said it all season. The joys of what the inequitable comps can do, just the contrast between this and BB25 is fucking astronomical in terms of results. And I feel like no episode showed it better than this finale and how everything played out. And I thought for what this was, even though, yes, it was kind of just comps, this was still a really exciting end. And I really enjoyed this finale a lot.
Oh, yeah, me too. Honestly, I mean, it wasn't as strong as the first 3 episodes.
No, yeah,
because obviously they were longer, and
that was the episode 3 was the peak, and I kind of knew it when it happened. I'm like, it's not going to get better than this, but it was absolutely the peak.
Yeah, it was still amazing. It was actually a really good finale. Obviously there was more game talk in the first 3 because of the longer episodes, but I was actually very impressed with this one. This finale, yes, it was short. And it was mostly comps, but I'm glad there was some game and strategy as well. So I actually thought it was a really strong finale overall, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. There's a little bit to talk about that happens before our first challenge. Obviously, like I said, the majority of this episode is challenges, but we'll get into the stuff that isn't challenges first. So the final 4 are celebrating making it to the end. Nicole says that she's very excited making it to the Reindeer Games. She feels like an underdog here because she has the least amount of challenge wins, but she wants to prove to her son that he can do anything he puts his mind to. And this is
Love
a
that.
very important scene considering what happens in
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I feel like if you want, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but this kind of should have given us an idea of like what was going to happen in this episode. We then see Taylor, who at this point I was led to believe was at least making it to the end of
Oh,
this,
yeah.
how heavily they focused on her. But she says that she feels amazing with how she got to the Reindeer Games. She was never put into Santa Showdown, which she thinks is a testament to her social game.
Yes.
Herself that she is a worthy competitor, so she's ready to finish up the game and get that money like she always does. And yeah, that's literally everything we get before the first challenge. And with
Also, I will say, like, just based on like edit wise, it kind of made me think that the final two were going to be Taylor and Frankie.
Yeah, I thought so too. I will say heading into this, like Frankie had the most in terms of DRs. I think if you go
Oh, yeah.
through, like, you know, those accounts that like have the DR counts, I think Frankie had the highest throughout the entire season. So I really
Yeah,
thought
I
like
think so.
Frankie and Taylor were, and one of the biggest ongoing stories all season was this, you know, whole one-sided rivalry. Not necessarily one-sided because, you know, Frankie did reciprocate it, but it was much stronger on Taylor's end between Frankie and Taylor, and I was thinking that they were going to be the two to battle it out. But we'll talk about what actually happened because it's definitely was not quite what we expected. But with that said, Allie, let's talk about this first challenge.
All right. So we're getting into the first challenge, which is a naughty or nice. And
The
so we
final
still have
naughty or nice.
like the final one, which is really cool. We have another one.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
know. I didn't know if they were gonna do another one. I honestly
yeah.
thought the way I thought the Reindeer Games was gonna go is they were gonna have to leave the house. It was gonna be a whole different location. That's not really what it was. That's not really
Yeah,
what it was at all.
it was like very different, but it was I really
Yeah,
liked it. I enjoyed it.
yeah, I
So
still enjoyed it.
so Tiffany comes in and lets them know she has very important news from Santa. She says they've each reached their ticket to the Reindeer Games and one of them will be taking home the 100K. She then explains a bit about the Reindeer Games of how it will work. It will be a tournament in which there will be two head-to-head semifinal matchups and then a final showdown to crown this year's winner. But before it begins, there will be one final naughty or nice challenge, the winner of which will earn a huge advantage in the Reindeer Games.
So the only issue I do have with this, I will say, is that it's really not that dissimilar from what we just saw in the last episode. The last
Yeah.
episode we had two brawls, and then that determined like who ended up going into you know, Santa Showdown and things like that.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is a little bit different because they're like head-to-head matches, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit more they could have done. It just felt like they still kind of did the same type of format. It was just a little bit different. And I think there was a way they could have changed this up. And I expected this was going to be a lot of like individual challenges, and it would have been
Yeah,
cool if they
same.
did something like that. Maybe that's, I think the reason that they didn't was because they were trying to play it relatively safe this season. This was the
Mhm.
season they were testing stuff out. They
Yes.
weren't really able to go completely, just they were going bonkers with their ideas, but they couldn't really do that in terms of their budget because they already had this really crazy set. So they probably couldn't change up too much. But I will say, if the show does come back, I think that is something to think about. Make the Reindeer Games feel like its own thing. I don't really feel like they did that here. This still basically felt like the same kind of format to me.
It did. I mean, I still enjoyed the comp, but yeah, I kind of agree there.
Yeah, like it wasn't that dissimilar from what we've seen. And I feel like them hyping up the Reindeer Games, I think it just need to be a little bit different. Because one of the things the show did
Mhm.
so well is how much they kept everybody on their toes throughout. And I feel like,
Yeah,
well, yes, this is a little bit different. It's still basically the same thing that they've been doing. So,
exactly. So they were told late last night someone snuck into the lodge and replaced one of the priceless paintings on the wall of the lodge.
well,
For
we know
this
it's not Brittany, Danielle, or Frankie. So, you know, we can rule that out. Not this time at least. That's not who's in
honestly,
the break, who's part of the break-in. That's how
for
this
this
all started. It's all their fault. That's why we have
right?
reindeer games.
It's so funny. So, for this challenge, they will have to search the lodge and identify the fake painting when they think they know it. When they know it, they are to ring the silver bell and name the forgery. The first player to identify which is the forgery will win this power.
Yeah, I like this challenge. Once again,
Me
I've said
too.
a lot about just how equitable and fair these Naughty or Nice
Oh,
challenges
yeah.
are. Pretty much anybody can win them at this point. And I mean, I feel like these challenges in particular are complete crapshoots. Like literally
They
anybody can
are,
get them. There's been a different person winning every single challenge. And, I think the
which we
only
love.
thing I would suggest with the Naughty or Nice challenge moving forward is make it so it's not always like having to ring in the silver bell and things like that. Like I think there's ways to change it up to make it that much more exciting. But I still really enjoyed again just how refreshing this challenge was in particular. It felt
Yes.
very much like something you'd see in like a live org. Like that's what this felt like to me. This challenge in particular, all of them, like anytime they did naughty or nice, it very much felt like something you'd see in like an LRG.
Yeah, literally, it really did, honestly, which is pretty cool. So, Xavier says he has been looking in these paintings since day one and has been studying them as hard as any law exam he's taken.
Mhm.
And this studying proves to pay off as Xavier is able to correctly identify the forgery and wins the
Yep.
advantage.
Yeah, he got it, like, literally immediately, like, we didn't
I
even get to
know.
see how Nicole, Taylor, and Frankie were doing because Xavier just knew it, like
He
and honestly,
did.
like, good for
Impressive.
him, like,
Yeah,
he's really been struggling with these naughty or nice challenges. This is, like, the one thing he has just not been able to do all
I
season.
know.
Everyone else has come close, but he just has not been able to accomplish it, and finally, he's able to, and I was happy to see that because
Oh, yeah.
he's really this has like been the one area where it's like, okay, I don't think Xavier can win this. So, I
Oh,
thought
for
this is a
sure.
good win for him.
I agree, like, he's not that great of a social or strategic player, but he has his
No.
moments, but he's like this I'm just really proud of him with this challenge, he definitely deserved it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
So Tiffany tells him he will have a huge advantage going in where he
Not
alone will get
disadvantage.
this we're going in where he alone will get to
Yeah.
decide the matchups for this tournament.
Yeah,
He
apparently
will
when you win the naughty or nice now, you get a disadvantage. You don't get the advantage,
Oh,
according to
yeah, for
Allie.
sure. He will
Take
decide
notes. That honestly might be fun if they change that up. You get the
that would
disadvantage
be
instead.
that'd be so funny.
Yeah.
Be very entertaining. So he will decide who he wants to go mistletoe to toe with in the semifinals, which will also determine the other semifinal match. In addition, the other player he chooses to go up against will have the disadvantage of starting 30 seconds before him.
And can I just say, I
Or is
really
you mean
have
I thought
liked the
isn't it 30 seconds after him?
yeah, 30 seconds after him is what I meant.
That's okay. All good.
Yeah. I've really liked the way they've handled these disadvantages. All of them have been slight, but they could have very well impacted the challenge in a
Yeah.
way that, changes the results. It's not something that is too much. It's not something that like absolutely like is just unfair. Like it's just really
Yeah.
good to see this actually like working out for Big Brother where it's like, okay, you finally figured out how to make it fair. And I feel like these disadvantages are a good example of that. Where like none of them have been like too brutal or anything to where it like really
Exactly.
hurt somebody in the challenge.
Yeah.
I think the only one that really played like a huge role was Frankie getting to freeze like Xavier and Nicole. But even
Yeah.
but even on that, him and Taylor were so far ahead. I feel like they were just always going to win that. So,
Yeah. That one was
but
I
yeah,
mean, that one was definitely brutal, but like honestly, like I've been very impressed with these disadvantages.
yeah. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the post naughty or nice, which there was a little bit more strategy here than I
Yeah,
expected,
which
which
is
I was happy
great.
about. So Xavier's thrilled that he has finally won a naughty or nice challenge win. Being able to determine the bracket is huge. Nicole says that her life in this game is in Xavier's hands, where he will probably go against her, and she says she'd pick herself as well. But it would really be awesome if he picked Frankie and hope he makes the dumb choice. So he talks to Taylor, pretty much establishes that, like, the two of them are going to be split up. They're going to be making final two. So he's really committed to making this final two with her. And again, I think this is probably Xavier's biggest issue this season, that he just didn't like try to branch out enough with like other players. Like he stuck very closely to the four that he had, and that's good, but it
Yeah,
kind of put him in this position where he just wasn't connected with other people in the game. And we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on, but I feel like that is like his biggest hang up this season, is that
definitely.
outside of his alliance, he just didn't really talk to anyone that much. So
Exactly. He didn't.
Taylor says the easiest thing for her would be for Xavier to take on Frankie himself and take him out of the game, which makes her path to the end all that much easier, but she's happier with whatever decision he makes. He says he really doesn't know what to do, and Xavier would rather him and Taylor be the final two in the Reindeer Games, so he's got to decide if he wants to take on Frankie or Nicole and who he wants Taylor to battle against. This decision could be the difference between him going home and him winning 100K. So after careful consideration, Xavier does ultimately choose to battle against Nicole in the first semifinal matchup. Do you think this was the right choice for him?
I mean, I guess like, I feel like strategically he should have just picked Frankie because like they're
Yeah,
both compies, and like he could easily get him out. Like you never know. But yeah, he kind of just went like the easy route and like the safe route with picking Nicole.
I feel like everyone
Because,
was.
like,
I feel
he
like
really
yeah,
thought he could, like, beat her. He really thought he could beat her.
yeah, at this point, like, why do you underestimate Nicole's abilities? Like, she
Mhm,
won against Josh. You don't know what this
mhm,
challenge is going to be. And I also
exactly.
feel like Xavier knows that, like, Frankie is, he says he wants to go final two with Taylor. Well, Frankie is the person standing in your way of that. So, like, why not
Mhm,
just battle against Frankie? You've taken out
yes.
Frankie, and now you
Mhm,
have that better of a chance of making it to the end. I just feel like this was such
definitely.
a no brainer. I don't think him picking
Yeah.
Nicole really made sense. I mean, obviously, we can say that in hindsight. Spoilers, we can definitely say that in hindsight. But I feel like, this was just not the best decision for him. I think he
It
definitely could have done
wasn't.
something different here.
I think so
So,
too. It wasn't really the smartest move.
yeah, this means Taylor and Frankie will be going
Oh,
against each other,
also
which
also you forgot to say she says she gets it.
yeah, Nicole pretty much understands, his reasoning and things like that. There's really not much she can do at this point, so she kind of just
Yeah.
has to agree with it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
this does mean that Taylor and Frankie are going to be going up against each other in the second semifinal matchup, which low key is the most exciting outcome because those two have been
Oh,
wanting each
yeah.
other out for a while.
Yeah.
So Frankie really doesn't understand why Xavier wouldn't take the 30-second advantage to try to take him out because that's what he would have done, which means he's going up against Taylor, which he's excited for because it means there will be a queen one way or another in the finals, and it's going to be him. Even Frankie's like, Xavier, what did you do here? This doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense.
Yeah, literally,
So
Frankie is, like, so good. Like, he's literally a triple threat.
yeah, and that's all the more reason to take him out. That's the thing. Like
Mhm.
his resume is just incredible. And I know
Oh,
obviously there's
yeah.
no jury. Resumes doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But in terms of like who is your biggest comp threat, it's 100% Frankie. Absolutely. Like
Mhm.
even he's pretty much saying it. So
Yep.
Xavier says even though he thinks that Taylor, Nicole, or Frankie will be a fierce battle, truthfully, Nicole has one less than Taylor and Frankie. So she gives him the best odds and he hopes the best player wins. And here's the thing, I understand that logic from a surface level where it's like, okay, yes,
Yeah.
she's won the least amount of comps. But let's think about the comps that she has won, the things that people thought she wasn't going
Yeah,
to be able to do
she
and that she was
won
able to
the
come back from.
like, she won that one where, like, they have to, like, get the pieces, and then the one against Josh, like, oh my god, she's so tiny, she's only, like, 5'1", and like he's literally just underestimating her abilities.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was just not the best choice for him. I
No.
mean, I'm glad he did it considering what happens, but like, it
Yeah.
really was not the best choice for him game wise. So Nicole says this is literally what she didn't want. Xavier's bigger, stronger, and faster than her, but so is Josh, and somehow she beat him. Exactly. That's why this doesn't make sense. And she wants to make it to the final so bad and hopes for another Christmas miracle. And with that, Allie's going to talk about the first of two semifinal matchups.
Alright. So for this challenge, they are told Santa's nutcrackers are broken and needs to be repaired. They each have a giant nutcracker that's missing nearly all of its gears. It's their job to get the nutcracker working again. Using the pins, they must attach all 28 gears from the box onto their nutcracker so that when they turn the crank at the bottom, all the gears begin to spin and the nutcracker cracks a walnut. The first player to fix it and use it to crack their nut will advance to the final of the Reindeer Games.
Yeah, and again, like a very equitable comp that pretty much
Yes.
anybody can win. And that's something I
Mhm.
was happy about with this episode. There's no like overly physical comps here. Like this really
Yeah.
was designed so anybody could win it. I think really just the one comp they had in episode 5 is the only one where I'm like, this was a bit unfair. They definitely could have
Yeah.
done something different there. But all the comps in this episode, like I was fine
Yeah,
with
I
what
mean,
they did.
I actually did like the one that, like, Britney and Xavier did, but I mean, I just wish it was a little more equitable for Britney.
I just think they should have made an accommodation for her because it was very
Yeah,
obvious that she was struggling.
exactly,
So
because she's so small.
yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I like this challenge quite a bit. I thought it was very exciting to watch.
Oh, yeah, it was really exciting, very
Yeah,
intense, very fun.
yeah,
So, since Xavier won the power, Nicole has been disadvantaged and will start 30 seconds after him.
which really didn't seem to make much of a difference.
Not really. It was just like, "Oh, he gets 30 seconds before me." She's like
Yeah, because low key, Xavier was really bad at this challenge. Like he seemed to be just really
Mhm.
struggling. Didn't seem to like
Yeah.
he was going so incredibly slow, and it didn't really seem like he was like really like ramping it up. And I feel like he just thought like he was gonna be able to beat Nicole. That I think that's what
Yeah.
happened here. Like he was so convinced, like I can beat Nicole. This is gonna be fine for me. I'm just gonna take my time with this. But it's like with a challenge like this, you really can't take your time because it's a head-to-head
Yeah.
match. It's like,
Yeah, he was like
if
he's like, "No brainer, I'm gonna beat her."
yeah, and, well, let's talk about what happens.
So, and though she was disadvantaged, it proves to not be an issue as Nicole is able to
Mhm.
successfully fix the Nutcracker and is the first to advance to the final round.
Yeah, and I mean, what an incredible moment for Nicole here, who
Oh,
I
yeah.
think a lot of people would have expected was probably going to go here, but again, really just a bad move on Xavier's part
Mhm.
to go up
Yes.
against her because as we've seen all season, don't underestimate Nicole Franzel. She knows
Literally.
what she's doing.
Yeah. This means Xavier is the next person eliminated from Reindeer Games. Like, literally, I will say right now, like, Nicole literally just beasted and got out 2 strong men.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
she's so tiny, she's small, like, yeah, literally, don't underestimate her because she, like,
Yeah.
really knows her shit.
Especially not in comps. Like she is generally one of the best after this season.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, because like, she's just made it far and, like, basically everything.
Yeah,
Like, I think
I don't
her
think I
lowest placement
can
I think her lowest placement's 7th.
yeah, I don't think I can dispute her being one of the best anymore. I feel like we just have to say, yeah, she's one of the best because I mean,
Mhm.
look at her in this season. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Like, she was just social, she played the middle, she worked
Yeah.
with the women, but she also worked
Hmm.
with Frankie,
Yeah.
like, crazy.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, Xavier, love him, like,
We'll
one
talk
thing
about
that
him in a little bit.
yeah.
Once we get to his retrospective, we'll
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
true.
Xavier.
So Nicole is elated that she has won, saying she didn't believe in herself because she is this chubby mom and that didn't work out before she came here. I mean, I know she works out. This is probably just before she didn't really have time.
Yeah, that's what I think she meant. Like she just wasn't in the proper shape like before she did
Yeah.
this. Like she wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly. Before she came here, but she did this and she's come so far and she has survived against some great competitors in this game. There's just one more that she has to get through and she's going to give it everything she has and leave nothing out there. Oh,
So
amazing.
Nicole officially in the Reindeer Games in the
So
finals.
good. Like, she's literally the underdog out of the final 4.
Yeah, 100%. Like the entire season has been it's either this person versus Nicole or someone having to save Nicole. Like that's been her spot all season long. And it's crazy
Mhm,
how every time she's always come back from it.
mhm, yep. So, in his retrospective, Xavier says he lost, came close, but couldn't quite get it done. He gave it everything he had, and he has no regrets, and he says, "Great job to Nicole," which was I like that he, gave her credit there.
Yeah.
Like, he does seem like a very genuine and nice person, he's just not good strategically or socially that much.
Yeah, well, read that last part and then we'll talk a little bit more.
He tells them all, "It has been such an honor to play with each and every one of them."
Yeah, so I'll talk about Xavier's game a little bit. I feel like while Xavier is just a really fun person to watch
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of Big Brother, and I really do enjoy
Yeah.
like whenever he's like on a podcast or something, or whenever I see him appear on like a video, he's always so fun and charismatic to watch. And he just has like you can tell how much he loves Big Brother and things like that. But I feel like when he's in the game, he's just not that interesting to watch. And I think we really saw him
Yeah.
kind of the flaws of his game in plain sight this season. I feel like in 23, he was kind of able to avoid some of these issues because the fact that he had people that wanted to work with him. He was able to make these long lasting connections. He was able to kind of thrive with his team that really loved him. He, of course, had this alliance in the cookout that was never going to, they were never going to turn on each other, obviously, because they were trying to achieve the goal that they did. But I think Xavier as a player in terms of adaptability, it really just isn't that great. And I think we really saw that be an issue this season. He really struggled to make some solid connections. People were always trying to fight for him, but
Yeah.
very rarely were they able to make a case against him where it's like, okay, we shouldn't put Xavier in because of this. They always saw him as
Exactly.
someone they needed to put in. They always saw him as someone that needed to go in to stand a showdown. You can say, okay, yeah, he's really overly physical, but so's Frankie. And Frankie never had to do that. Frankie avoided Santa Showdown most of the season. He only went in like
Mhm.
2 times, and the
Yep.
only other time he went in was because they knew that he was going to do well in the challenge. So it's like
Oh, yeah.
Xavier really did take the spot that I said he was probably going to take in episode 1, where they just saw him as like the default person to put into the showdown. And yes, he won every single time. But aside from that, he just was not able to make those genuine connections. He comes in, I think, very much thinking he's just going to be able to rely on comps and he's going to be fine. And I feel because that he just like his decisions just didn't make a lot of sense here.
No.
I think there were a lot of things he needed to kind of do differently. He needed to branch out and make connections that his alliance members had that he just simply didn't. His worst move of the season easily is still what he did to Danielle, basically
Mhm.
selling her out and
Yeah.
just completely squandering any chance of him having like a solid ally in the game. Yes, he has Taylor, but Taylor's connected to everybody at this point.
Yep.
Taylor's in a really good spot. And yes, Taylor is looking out for him, but Taylor's also looking out for Nicole. Taylor's also looking out for Josh. Taylor's also looking
Mhm.
out for, other people in the game. Like it's
Yep.
not just Xavier, whereas if
And, like
he
and then
had
obviously Taylor is, like, trying to she's trying to get Frankie out because he's a big threat, but she's also
yeah,
good with him.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not the greatest position to be in when the person you're relying on is the person that is the most well connected in the game. That's really not a great
Mhm.
spot to be in because they are so well connected in that way that everybody feels good with them. And if everybody feels good with them, then, they don't just feel good with you. And while I do think Taylor absolutely wanted to take Xavier to the end and they had that genuine connection and things like that, again, I just think he needed to branch out more. And I think he really struggled with that in this game. So he really did put himself in this position where he had to win out. And I don't feel like he needed to be there. And I feel like that's very much his biggest issue in this game. So I'm honestly fine with him getting fourth. I love Xavier. I enjoyed watching him this season, but this was definitely not his strongest outing.
Oh, yeah, definitely, like, I love him as a person, like, he just seems very genuine, he seems very kind and just respectful and, like, great person all around, just
Oh yeah.
as a strategist and socially, he's just not great, like, he has his moments, but he's just not that strong in that, like, just he's definitely just more physical, he wins those comps, like, he literally only, like, besides a few people, he didn't really, like, work with anybody else, like, he didn't really have those connections with Frankie and Nicole and such.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
it's
Frankie
like
tried. Like Frankie
yeah,
tried. It just wasn't like
mhm.
anything solid.
Yeah, and Nicole, like, obviously was just like, yeah, she kinda tried, but she also was like, "I know that he's never gonna trust
Yeah.
me." Um, so it's
And how
like
many times did somebody win like a brawl and Xavier's like, well, I'm not connected to this person, and then didn't really like do much about it, you know?
mhm. Yeah, exactly, like, just love Xavier so much, but he definitely just was collateral damage for sure.
Yeah.
He was always just, like, the go-to person to go into the showdown, but, I mean, I still enjoyed watching him. He's a little boring in the DR at times just
Oh
because
yeah.
Just
Oh
because he's
yeah.
very, like, just straightforward. Like, he has a personality, but he's just very
This is how
simple.
this challenge is going
Yeah.
to work. We have to
He's just
dunk this
very, like,
ball into this
yeah,
thing.
like, his DRs are just very straightforward.
Yeah.
Definitely better than Cameron, but still.
Oh yeah.
But, like, yeah, he was just love him as a person, love Xavier, but I was happy with this outcome that he got 4th, and he still deserved like, he still did well. He just, like, getting like, he still made it to the
Yeah.
finale, but, like, overall, it wasn't he
He
wasn't, like
definitely
he wasn't great. He probably would have been, like, the
yeah.
weakest winner.
Oh, for sure. Like again, comp wise, yes, he's great, but like just in terms of his overall game, I would not have been happy with an Xavier win. And I don't feel like the
Same.
show was editing him to be the winner in any way. So I just
Mhm.
never thought he was gonna get there. So yeah, not really
Exactly.
sad to see him get fourth.
All right. So getting into the post matchup, Frankie says he told Nicole from day one that he wanted to be in the final two with her. So if he succeeds in winning this, he gets to fulfill that promise. I will say here, like now that the final three is determined, if it was like regular Big Brother and like whoever wins at HOH, like Nicole's like the go-to person to go to the end because Frankie and Taylor
Yeah,
will
like
cut each other.
she is undoubtedly like if this is regular Big Brother, Nicole is undoubtedly in the best spot. She's going to the end no matter what because both of them are
Exactly.
taking her.
Oh yeah, literally. That would be so like that's just like so iconic, you know?
Oh yeah.
Taylor says Xavier chose Nicole because he thought he had an easier shot of beating her and getting to the end to the next round, and she just proved him wrong. Whoever wins between him and Frankie will have to face Nicole at the end, and it will be or whoever wins between her and Frankie, you put him by mistake, between her and Frankie will have to face Nicole at the end, and it will be a truly epic showdown.
Yes.
The final three then celebrate, and Nicole says she didn't see herself beating Xavier in anything, and Taylor says she can't assume anything about anybody, which is true.
Mhm.
Taylor says she has been gunning to get Frankie out of this game, so for the longest time, and she has not been able to get others to take him out. Now it's time for her to step up to the plate, become an ice queen, and take him out herself. Yes, queen.
Yes. We
Next
love
season
Dylan
is
Taylor
Survivor
this
Worlds
season.
Apart, not 46.
Okay. I didn't think that was the case, but cool. We're talking about Reindeer Games right now, but we're definitely excited for 46 whenever
We
that comes
are.
around. But thank you for that
Thank
little
you.
factoid of information that you
We
gave
do.
us. So
Appreciate you.
um yes. All right. So we go into the second matchup here. So they're told that mischievous elves are causing mayhem within the North Pole. Before the finals can begin, they must be apprehended. On the Christmas bell, they are to run to their police pod and listen to the bulletin describing the 5 guilty elves. Once they have heard all the details, they are to go to their slingshot and use Christmas spirit to knock down the 5 elves they think best fit the description. After they have gotten all 5 elves, they are to hit their button to see if they are correct. And if they're wrong, all the elves will be set back to the start. But be careful of their aim because if they knock down an elf, it's up to them to restart. The winner will then advance to the final round of Reindeer Games. And I like this comp quite a bit because
Me
there's a
too.
lot of different skills in here. Yes, obviously, there's the slingshot of it all, but you also really have to think diligently about
Oh,
these
yeah.
elves and who they could be, and it requires a lot. It requires a logic component to it as well, and that's what's been great about these comps is that they're not just overly physical. There
Yeah,
is
this
a
one was like
mental portion. There is
yeah, this
a
was like a mix of physical and strategic, which I like.
Yeah, and any comp that aside from the one that I mentioned that I didn't really like with like the hang gliding and the puzzle, almost
Mhm.
every comp this season has been like that, which is great.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's been awesome.
so we get down to here, and I mean, really, this was anybody's win. Both Frankie and
Mhm.
Taylor are coming in as the people with the most comp wins. They are the people that are probably the most well set up to get to the end of the game. So it really just came down to, who won this. To me, at least, I thought was determining who the winner was going to be because I thought these
I
two had the
know.
best chance of winning.
Mhm.
Um, but after failing to do so in multiple rounds, Taylor is finally able to successfully take out Frankie by winning this challenge and advancing to the final round with Nicole. This means that Frankie is the final person eliminated from Reindeer Games. And
I will say we stand a final two of all women and
yeah.
also two strong women beating out the strongest men in comps.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, Taylor talks about how ecstatic she is that she has made it to the final and that it will be an all-female final too, which, fun fact, if we are counting this as a Big Brother season, this is the first time we have had a female final two since literally Big Brother 13, which is fucking
Literally.
insane. But yeah,
Mhm.
literally it's been that long. So
It's
she says
crazy.
this is everything and so much of what she could have wanted. And yeah, Taylor and Nicole are now the final two. We'll talk about how incredible this is in a little bit. But we do get this retrospective with Frankie, which was very brief, really didn't
It
say that
was.
much. He says that he does wish that he took home that win, but he can't be heartbroken seeing how happy that Taylor really is. And I was surprised they didn't give him a little bit more
I
to
was
say
like
here because he
I
was such a huge character this season.
yeah. It was nice though, like, he was super happy for Taylor because he seems
Yeah.
to, like, generally be all about girl power.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that apparently Frankie said in the very beginning of this season that we didn't see in episode 1 is he mentioned to Taylor that his biggest regret in Big Brother 16 was working with all the men and being
Yes,
in,
King.
the detonators. He wanted to be for the women this season. Yes, he had Cody, but it really does seem like from what we're seeing postseason, his true allegiance was to the women. That's where he wanted
Yes.
to be.
So good.
Within this game. And
He
honestly,
probably
I
was
was
yeah, he was probably just sticking with Cody too, just
yeah.
because they are friends, so it was just kinda like the loyalty.
Yeah, and I think honestly, Frankie came in and I thought just really ended up impressing me this season. I
Same.
was not high on him at all in 16. I found him to be very just kind of annoying and over the top and someone I just really didn't enjoy watching. But here I liked him a lot more. And I think he really proved himself. Cody came in this season, said Frankie's one of the best to never win. And I honestly think that might be true after this
Yeah.
season because he is just so incredible, especially and we talked about how important adapting is. I think in Reindeer Games, especially, it's very important to be adaptable. And Frankie mastered that so well. There were so many moments this
Mhm.
season where Frankie absolutely should be put into Santa's Showdown. And the fact that he wasn't really is just a testament to how great of a social game he had. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody was always trying to work with him. Even Taylor, who is actively targeting him, can't because of the fact that she knows that he's good with her and doesn't feel like she needs to do that yet. And it's just incredible to how Frankie was able to muster this fantastic social game throughout the entire season. There
Mhm.
were moments where, he's obviously lying to people, but they don't recognize it because, again, Frankie's just such a good speaker. He's so good at saying what he needs to say at every given moment. And I think just really ended up killing this game. And yes, obviously, this is a game that is heavily reliant on comps, but I will be honest with you guys. I don't think Frankie needed a lot of the wins that he did. I think he did
He
a
didn't.
really good job at just constantly improving his social game, constantly putting himself in this strong position to where any point where he probably should have been in danger, he wasn't because he always had somebody else to blame. With what he does to X, a perfect example, what he does to X with the hamster wheel, he is able to pull it off as, oh, I just did that because I wanted to save you. And that worked out for him because X is never coming for him after that because he now has saved him. Taylor, like I said, who's actively gunning for him, he makes it clear he wants to work with Taylor. He wants to,
Yep.
get closer with her in this game and things like that. He deliberately puts her, against him on a team. And even though they're not seeing eye to eye, they never actively get to target each other until this very moment. So yeah,
Mhm.
I was really impressed by Frankie all around. I generally thought after Cody left, he had very little chance of making it to this point, but he proved
Yeah,
me
yeah.
wrong every single time. And I was just really won over by him by the end. I think he just played a really strong game this season. I think he really established himself as a great social and strategic player. I just really liked what we got to see from him here. Like I said, I wasn't super impressed by him on his original season, but here he fully won me over, and I just really was impressed by the game he got to play. And if there And I have to say, like I said, the way that the edit was propping him up, I really did think Frankie was winning the season just because of how much they showed him, how much of the season revolved around, we got to take out Frankie. We got to take out Frankie. It was impossible to take him out. I felt like that was leading towards a win, but I feel like this also makes sense. Like if this was regular Big Brother, he's the person that everyone's constantly saying that like, was going to win the game and then doesn't. This is like, the third place spot where like someone
Mhm.
who was going to win doesn't. Like if this was an org, he'd probably have gotten player of the season and things like
Oh,
that. Like
yeah.
he really just killed it here. I was very impressed by Frankie all around this season.
Oh, me too. Like, I liked him obviously preseason of 16 because obviously Ariana's brother. But then
Yeah.
obviously in 16 he was just very annoying. He said some kind of bad, like iffy things that weren't great and things
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, like I feel like he grew a lot. Like,
Oh yeah, you
I
can
mean,
tell
it
he
was
was.
9 years ago, obviously, when he was on 16. So I mean, he of course he grew a lot. He's 40 years old. Um,
Mhm.
and so he's like grown adult. But so yeah, he really like won me over. He like really grew on me. And like he seems like a very genuinely nice person. Um and I mean, obviously he has like a couple little things here and there he says that are kind of cringy, but only a few. Like he's not like as annoying as before.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, literally he's an absolute beast. Like he's strategic, he's social, like he's amazing at those, he's physical. He's literally one of the best to never win, honestly. Cuz like he's like the whole package in a player.
Yeah.
And like literally if this was real Big Brother, and he got to the final two, he probably would have won unanimously just because of how amazing and like he was. Like he's just such a beast. He's just phenomenal. And like his little game rivalry with Taylor is great and
Oh
iconic and
yeah.
entertaining. Like they love each other, but they also don't really trust each other fully. His loyalty to Nicole, amazing, and obviously to Britney too. And like, oh my
Yeah.
god, he was just fantastic to watch. And like he really truly won me back over. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely a fan.
And through all of that, like he's always in such a strong spot throughout the game. Like whether
Yes.
it's with Cody, where I think Frankie was absolutely in the driver's seat there,
Oh
or
yeah.
when he gets into this, this alliance, this very unexpected alliance with Nicole and Brittany, he's still the one very much kind of in the driver's seat. He's the one in the best position. He's the one that people are seeing as like, the person that they feel good with. Like again, just really impressive game all around from Frankie here. Um,
Oh yeah.
but let's talk about how good this final two is because, like
Oh
I
yeah.
said, it has been so long since we got to see two women in the finale together, and getting to see Nicole and Taylor, two people that, Nicole underestimated all season, Taylor having this incredible social game all season and just putting herself in such a great spot, getting to play such a rapidly different game than she did her season. I feel like, obviously, while we just praised Frankie's game, this is absolutely the most exciting outcome, having these two in the end, having two winners in the end as well. One of them, if you want to call a two-time winner, I personally wouldn't because it's a completely different game. I don't think we
Yeah.
call this a
Like,
two-time
it's
winner at
still
all,
Big
but
Brother, but it's not, like, because it's
it's
very
not. There's no jury
there's
vote.
no,
Like
like
I
there's
don't,
no
yeah.
yeah, there's, like, no votes and stuff, so it's a little
And like
different.
people have made a really good point. Like if we're not counting Tamar's win as like the first black person to win Big Brother, and we count Xavier's instead, why are we counting whoever wins here as like the first two-time winner? It doesn't make sense. Like
Exactly.
it's not
Yeah,
Big Brother proper. Like it's not Big Brother
definitely.
proper. So I don't count as a two-time win. But getting to see two winners making to the end and them both being women is very
So good.
exciting. And I was just
Oh,
really
yeah.
very happy for this final two. What do you want to say about this overall?
Oh, me too. Oh my god, like, literally 3 out of 4 of the final 4 are literally winners, and then obviously
Yeah.
Frankie is such a great player. Oh my god. I just think
Yeah.
it's so iconic and amazing and just great representation. And like it's just so inspiring to have two strong women, two badass women who won to be in the end. Like Nicole, obviously such an underdog. But she was like very like silent killery kind
Yeah.
of, and also like just very social. And then obviously, like we said, those comps against like strong men. And Taylor just super strategic, and she was just fantastic. She was the only person who was never in Santa Showdown. Like, how can you hate on Taylor and Nicole? They are two of the best. And I'm just so proud of this final two. And either way, I was happy with whoever won just because I adore both of them.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think regardless of the outcome, this is a really strong final two. But I did still very much think that Taylor is the favorite to win here. She's had the most, DR content. She's had such a huge arc of this entire season. I really did think, okay, Taylor's winning again, and I'm very much here for it. But we'll talk about what actually happened. So with that said, let's talk about the grand finale. So before the challenge, they do something that I didn't expect to see. We actually get all the eliminated players come back, as well as the other elves. Yes, Jordan and Derek are there, which I will say now, I don't know if you agree with me. I think Derek X was the best elf of the three. I think he was the one that brought the most entertainment. He was having the most fun. I love Tiffany, and I thought she was a really good elf, and Jordan, not the best at doing what she did. But Derek, I think, was probably my favorite of the three.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Derek was just like so energetic, and he just like seemed to have a lot of fun with it. Tiffany was good too.
He's such a showman. Like he's so natural in that role.
He is the greatest showman.
Not that.
But yeah, Tiffany was good too. Like, and then love Jordan, but yeah, she just isn't. Hosting is not really for her.
That wasn't monotone enough, but yeah. So
hosting is just not for her.
There you go. Oh, you got to bring it back. All right. So Josh is very excited to be in the presence of Santa.
Also, don't forget to say Tiffany also introduces Santa Claus. Don't forget to say that.
Yes. How dare I forget? Tiffany introduces Santa Claus, which is totally not the Big Brother announcer. This is definitely the real Santa. We need to shut down any sort of conspiracy theories that this isn't the real Santa, because it is. This is the real Santa Claus. Right? This is totally not the guy who says it's double eviction night, baby. It's totally not him. They just have similar voices. It's not him at all. So we just need to go ahead and just shut down any sort of preconceived beliefs. This is the real Santa Claus, and that absolutely is what's going on here. And it's just amazing that Big Brother was able to get Santa all the way from the North Pole for this finale. It was just really incredible to see.
Where's Tim Allen and Elizabeth Mitchell?
Yes. Well, I don't think we need to see Tim Allen on a reality show, but sure.
No, not as views. No.
Very, very much not. Anyway, let's get back on track here. Josh is very excited to be in the presence of Santa. He's gotten him his first bike, his first car, and his first tequila bottle, so he's his biggest fan. I just love how excited Josh was this season. I love the passion that he brought to this game. If you had to pick, the two people that I think we're gone too soon, it is Danielle and Josh. Like, I wanted a lot more from both of them. I hate that they both went out so early because they both were so great.
Josh is just so entertaining too. Like he just seems like so kind and just seems so fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like get Josh back immediately. He's so good. So
please.
Britney gives us another great DR and just again continues to show she's the queen of them, where she says that she's not at all happy to see Santa because he created drama. He wrote the rules to create division and conflict amongst the group, so he is not to be trusted. Santa then welcomes them to the finals of the Reindeer Games and first welcomes the two players who were eliminated in the semifinals. I did want to make a note. All of them were wearing, I think, the outfit that they liked the most because they all were wearing like different things. Britney was wearing the outfit that she won when she won the hamster wheel. Cameron was in like a vest. Josh, I believe, was wearing Danielle was wearing like PJs. So I think what they did here was they just said like pick the outfit you like the most, and that's what you wear on finale night, because there wasn't really a lot of consistency here. So
I agree. That was funny though.
Yeah. So Cody can't wait to find out who made it to the finals. He's just hoping his boy Frankie he just hope his boy Frankie has gotten himself there. And I'm not going to spend much time on this because once again, Cody is pissing me off on his podcast, but I do not like Cody Calafiore. I do not take his
No.
opinion seriously.
He's just very
And yeah.
he's a true meninist.
Well, now he's trying to push the whole, oh, we don't need the live feeds because they just add drama. Like, shut the fuck up. We don't need to
go
get into
away.
that discussion.
Like,
yeah,
come on, bye.
And I also don't think like you can compare both of these shows because they're just completely different animals. Like they're not even in the house the whole time on Reindeer Games. Whereas Big Brother, they're always in the house. So it's like, anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I don't like Cody Calafiore, and yeah,
I don't either.
Anyway, so Josh, and I'm honestly very happy he went early because the less we had to deal with him this season, the better. So
I know.
Josh says that it has to be Frankie and Xavier because Xavier has been fighting every day to survive, and Frankie is an absolute beast. Once again, they are just completely diminishing any chances of Taylor and Nicole coming out. They're just ruling it out completely. They think for sure it's going to be Josh and Xavier. And
you mean Frankie and Xavier?
Yeah, Frankie and Xavier. Yeah, Josh made it to the finals.
They're all just like underestimating the women.
Yeah. So they then see that Xavier and Frankie have been eliminated, and just the look on all of their faces was just so great here. Cody and Cameron were just like astonished. They, again, the whole season were just so so in denial of the games that especially Taylor was playing. Cody especially was doing this when he was there, and it was just really great to see.
Are we shocked? Are we shocked that Cody's like underestimating Taylor? Nope.
Yeah, but then the look of excitement on like Danielle and Britney's face, it was just a really great moment overall. I loved what we got here. So Cameron is shocked and that Taylor and Nicole are the final two. I'm surprised that Cameron got any content in this episode, but he says that they are two winners and legends facing off for the final dough, and he's shaking in his well-fitted festive vest. So Santa then welcomes the final two.
I'm just going to say it right now. I forgot Cameron was even in here.
Yeah, he was so irrelevant, especially because like he doesn't even hang out with this cast. He hangs out with like his 25 cast. So like it just,
and I don't think he fits with these legends.
So Danielle
I will say Cody's not really a legend, but he still doesn't fit with the cast.
No, Cody definitely is. I mean, Cody is a legend based on how he played in 22. Like, it makes sense for him to be here. I think the thing with Cody is that, and he said this, he doesn't have it in him anymore. Like, he's not really into the manipulation and, like, the cutthroat strategy. Like, he's not into it anymore. And, you know, Taylor said it, like, recently as well. Like, I think that's what happened with Cody this season. You know, regardless of the fact that I don't like Cody, I think the reason he didn't do well this season, it's because of the fact that he's not really into this kind of stuff anymore. He's kind of just, you know, over it. So
yeah, he's definitely just over it. He probably just came back because it's Christmassy and it's short.
He probably thought it was just going to be comps. I don't think he thought there was going to be any sort of like strategy into it. So, you know. But yeah, Danielle is very happy to see two ladies making it to the final two, but she's pulling for her girl, Taylor. And my God, I really miss Danielle. I wish we got to see more of her.
She would definitely be like, if it was Real Big Brother, she'd probably be like Rob Jur.
Yeah, definitely. So they're then told that for the first, especially how she went out. Yeah, she kind of has to be.
I know.
They are then told that for this first challenge, their mission is to acquire 3 enchanted items: the magical mistletoe, the ancient antlers, and the sacred snowflake.
Also,
the first
you said first challenge, but it's final.
Yeah. The first, I said the final challenge. Oh, yeah, you're right. So the first item is the magical mistletoe that they must simultaneously build and create a special Christmas tree. To reach it, after they have the magical mistletoe in hand, they must acquire the ancient antlers, which are protected with a 3-dimensional spinning maze. And then once free, they're going to move to the final artifact, which is the sacred snowflake. So they must meticulously stack 32 snowflakes along the largest snowflake in all the North Pole. Once complete, the power of the sacred snowflake will be free. The first player to bring all these artifacts to the Merry Magic Maker and activate it will fuel Santa's sleigh and activate preparing for his Christmas Eve journey. But it's Christmas Day. What do you mean? It can't possibly be his Christmas Eve journey. It's not like this was filmed
Right?
a week before Christmas or anything. What do you mean? So not only is this player going to save Christmas, but they will win this year's Reindeer Games and take home the 100K. And I will say, as great as this episode was, I mean, this final challenge is what makes it such a strong finale. Having these
Hell
two
yeah.
women battle it out, having this be such a difficult challenge for both of them. I mean, this was just so thrilling to watch. I
Oh, yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed this challenge.
Oh my god, literally the intensity of this challenge had me on the edge of my seat. I'm just like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved it so much. I'm like, who's gonna win here? Like, I'm fine with
Yeah.
either one. Like, they both deserve it. They were both playing so hard. They were fighting so
Mhm.
hard, and it was very fair too. Like, it was puzzles, like it was
Yeah.
mental, that kind of thing, and
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I mean, we also have to talk about that, like, we knew coming into the season that both, like, Taylor and Nicole, like, basically, like, beat up their legs, and we were waiting to see what it was gonna
Yeah.
be, and now it makes sense, because they literally had to,
Mhm.
like, fall on top of, like, a Christmas tree and things like that,
I
like, this
know.
was crazy.
It was wild. So Taylor
So,
says she is in the final of Reindeer Games, and she is so close to winning this thing. It's clear that Santa only wants the best of the best to save Christmas, because this will not be easy, but she's proven she can go mistletoe to mistletoe with the best.
yes.
Nicole says Taylor is such a sweet girl. She loves her. She's smooth and confident, and she literally competes with her hair down, and she looks like the prettiest thing you've ever seen. She's gonna throw her bun up and just try to keep up with her. This is such a cute DR.
We love how supportive they are of each other, like,
I know.
generally, I would have never expected Taylor and Nicole to become, like, such strong friends, but I just
Yeah.
really love it. I love seeing it.
Like, they're both from Michigan, which is iconic too.
Yeah.
So they have that bond, but they're also just
Mhm.
became, like, besties, and, like, Taylor's sticking up for her on, like, Twitter, and, like,
Yeah.
she's just, like
I feel like that should have been a dead giveaway that, like, both of them are probably making it far, because, like,
Mhm.
her doing that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But, yeah, their friendship is just really cute, and, like, it seems like Nicole, like, truly, like, looks up to her, which is, like, sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in the first part of the challenge, Taylor has a steady lead and obtains the magical mistletoe first.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought for sure, like, okay, Taylor's got this, like, there's no beating that
Yeah,
lead, and it was such a strong lead, like, Nicole was
I
very
know.
far behind her when it came to this challenge.
Yeah, it was crazy. When Nicole finally finds it, she literally has to jump up and falls on top of the stack, which I thought that
Yeah, it
was
was
really
crazy.
funny.
It was, I saw that
She's
pretty
just like,
much
"Whoop,
all over
plop."
Twitter. Yeah, it was crazy.
That would honestly be me if I was in this comp. I would just, like, fall.
Yeah, probably. Me too.
It'd be so funny.
Mhm.
So it's then time for both of them to compete in the ancient antlers. Josh says the showdown is the most epic he's ever seen between two epic female winners, and since Nicole knocked him out of the game, he wants her to be the first winner of the Reindeer Games.
You and me both, Josh. This is very riveting to watch.
I know. And, like, it's cute he's rooting for Nicole just for, like, beating him out of the
Yeah.
comp. While they both take a while to solve the maze, Taylor once again completes it first and has freed the antlers.
Yeah, and again, just her lead, it was like I thought obvious like what was gonna happen here.
It's so funny. So good. Nicole is feeling pretty hopeless over the maze and doesn't know if she's going to figure it out. She is eventually able to do so and moves on to the final stage.
Yep.
Like, her anxiety definitely gets the best of her.
Oh yeah.
So Cameron says that right now both of them are proving that only do they deserve to be in the Reindeer Games, but also both deserve to win the 100K.
Correct.
It,
I mean he's definitely right about that. I don't like that Cameron was the person that was chosen to say that, but yes.
true. He's just so boring in DRs
Yeah.
most of the
I'm
time.
glad we didn't have much of him this season because he's just
Yeah. Oh, it's then time for the sacred snowflake puzzle. This proves to be an extremely tough and frustrating challenge for both of them. Like, yeah,
Yeah, this was like
this was intense to watch.
they had to have been at this for at least an hour because just the amount of struggling that they were going through. There were so
Mhm.
many points where like Taylor seemed to have her stack like perfect and then it just kept falling. And then Nicole was like on her second stack and then it fell. Like it was just neck and neck between the two of them. And it really by the end was pretty much anyone's game when it came to this challenge. Like this basically any sort of lead that they had ended up dissipating because of this challenge. Like it was impossible to see who was even going to win.
Yeah, because like both of them, like both of their puzzles kept falling.
Yep,
So Xavier is rooting for Taylor, just when they think someone has a lead, it falls, and honestly, it's anybody's game.
exactly.
True. So Taylor once again seems to have a pretty steady lead, but after multiple collapses of the tower, the person who is able to complete the puzzle the fastest is Nicole,
Yeah.
who has won the final challenge and also has won the first season of Reindeer Games. I will say right now, what I found out is it's really cute and like wholesome that she told her family that she got second, just so like they could
Yeah.
see their reactions, which is kind of wholesome.
Yeah, I did watch that video. I thought that was really cute, actually. Like the way
I
they were
know.
like expecting it to be Taylor, and then it turned out to be Nicole. I thought that was really like cute to watch, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I
And
just
we'll talk.
like Nicole and her family are just very wholesome. Like she's very close with them.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Nicole in a little bit, but talk about this last little bit here.
All right. Nicole can't believe she won and saved Christmas. She doubted herself, but won't be doing that again. She is so
Oh,
excited for the grand prize of 100K. There is no feeling like this in the entire world, and this really is the merriest time of the year.
yeah, and I mean, I'm honestly fine with this outcome. Like, as much as I was rooting for Taylor, and you guys will see, like, on Twitter, they had the thing on Big Brother Extra where it's like, who are you rooting for? I said Taylor. Like, that's always the person that I'm going to be excited for. She's absolutely, like, one of my favorite house guests to play this game. I mean, how can you not love Taylor Hale in that way? And also just the arc that she had this season. I just really thought like she's probably winning this. Like she was easily one of the most consistent within the DRs. She had this clear arc from the beginning of someone that once again people saw as a target, but she just kept, her social game just kept helping her and she kept gaining more allies rather than losing them. Someone like Nicole, who absolutely should not want to work with her, does work with her, and it gets her to the end. And I really thought
Mhm.
this was all leading up to a Taylor win, but instead it's Nicole who ends up winning. And honestly, I think this is still pretty satisfying. Nicole comes in and, people I think probably saw her as someone that was going to go early this season. I think a lot of people were counting her out, even, throughout the season. I even said, I don't know if Nicole's making it to the end, but it'd be cool if she did. I didn't
Yeah,
actually think she was going to, let alone win the season. And
I
honestly, I
know.
think she has this really good arc of someone that not only others underestimated, but her kind of underestimating herself and not really thinking she was able to do it and then getting to that point. I mean,
Yeah,
just a really great arc for her all around. I think this was absolutely the redemption season for Nicole. I found
yeah.
myself really liking her a lot more this time around. Obviously, I still don't condone a lot of the things she did in 22, but it's clear to me that she has kind of recognized like where she went wrong. She's kind of recognized like things that have, she's kind of recognized like why she didn't win 22 and other things that she did, and she really lessened those behaviors. She came in with a clear goal of wanting to be for the women this season,
Yes. Oh
wanting
yeah.
to actually try to work with them, not wavering in any way, and it really did end up working out for her. And she was constantly in this position where she could have been thrown into Santa Showdown, but she always had someone like a Taylor, like a Frankie, like a Britney, who was always going to choose her over others. And it
Mhm.
really is just a testament to how great she played this game. I think absolutely her best move was probably when she was able to be saved in week 2. I think that put
Mhm.
her in such a strong spot after that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she does go into Santa Showdown, but that really is because Taylor's not going to send in Xavier. And, I think she just played such a well-rounded game this time around, but also just really beasting it in comps in a way that I don't think even we thought, she was capable of. Like, yes, she definitely did well in her seasons, but not at all to this extent. It kind of makes you think, how would Nicole have been in 22 if the comps were more equitable towards her? I mean, I feel like she could have
Mhm.
won a decent amount of challenges, and we
Yeah,
definitely
and
see
also
that
if
in the
she didn't
show.
and
So
also if she worked with, like, the right people instead.
yeah, I think this is the Nicole I wanted to see in 22. This is what I was
Yes.
hoping to see from her, and we got it this season, and honestly, I'm fine with her winning. I think this was a really good arc for her. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, I would have preferred a Taylor win, but Nicole winning, I'm honestly not upset about it at all. I think she definitely deserved this, and I really liked, I really like what we got to see from her this season.
Yeah, this is like the Nicole everybody fell in love with in, like, 16, and also she did
Yeah.
play well in 18 too, like, she deserved that win, but,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this is, like I feel like she really, like, grew from 22 as well, like, she grew from what she did wrong and said what she said and did wrong, and she's just, like yeah, she's here to, like and also especially being, like, a mom too, like, she's really, like a lot of things she's went through, and she's just really, like changing a lot of things she's done and just growing and maturing.
Yeah, for sure.
So Taylor says it's a little heartbreaking to come so close to winning, but Nicole is an absolute beast and has proven herself time and time again throughout this entire competition, and she has earned this win. She wishes
Yeah.
all of us a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, and I mean, it was great to see the way that Taylor was able to play this season.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
said, even though yes, I'm fine with Nicole winning. Taylor's game this season is one that I definitely think we should not in any way ignore because the
Mhm.
way that she played
True.
this season, I mean, this is
You muted.
wait, what happened?
I don't know, you must have muted yourself by accident.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. What was the last thing you heard?
Just about, like, her game. Just go ahead.
Yeah, like this is the way she wanted to play in 24. Like she's talked extensively about it, and it's kind of crazy to see what she was able to do this season. Not only is she playing with people that are respecting her and are not just going to completely just misinterpret every single thing that she does in the worst way possible because they suck,
Mhm.
but she also was working with people that actually wanted to play with her and actually took her seriously, and people that actually were still somehow underestimating her even after how she played. They still were underestimating her this season, which is crazy to think about.
Mhm.
But I mean, she absolutely just killed it this season. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
loved what Taylor was able to do. I think, her entire arc of this season was just really great to see her kind of being more like the villain this time around, where, she had targets and she made sure those targets went home. She got out Cody. She was able to get out Frankie, obviously not as early as she would have wanted, but she did still get him out. And that's something that I definitely do credit her for. I think, I've seen a lot of people come down on her for taking Nicole instead of Britney. But here's the thing. Britney, besides Taylor, was the person with the most comp wins. She had won every single challenge at least once. And she's no slouch in this kind of thing. Like she's not at all somebody that you can count out. So I don't feel like saying that she took Nicole is, and that being the reason she didn't win. I don't think that's fair to her. I think that either way, she would, Brittany still could have won. Like Brittany could have been in the spot that Nicole had. But it's because of I think the way that Taylor played the game was how she needed to play the game, and it absolutely put her in the spot. Obviously this challenge was really anybody's win, but I think she should still be so proud of how she played. I mean, she's proven that she really is one of the greats. The fact that she comes in as a relatively newer player, but she's able to outlast so many just legends and things like that really just shows how incredible of a player she is, really just
Oh, yeah.
showed how adaptable she is. I mean, again, 24 in this game, wildly different games from her, and she gets to the end in both of them. She's never been voted out of Big Brother, which is
Oh,
just such an
as she
incredible thing
should.
to say. um Yeah, I mean, I'm really
Incredible.
impressed by the game she played this time around. I loved her game in 24, but I think this game was even, and that game is still the more impressive game for sure. Like, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
trying to diminish that game in any way, but I think the way she played here was still very impressive to watch. She was much more upfront with what she was doing, and yet she was able to be in a spot where nobody put her into Santa Showdown, and it was just really amazing to see. Just such an incredible game for her all around. I would have loved to see her win, but her getting second place, I mean, she should still be very proud of herself.
Oh, yeah, like, she was just absolutely phenomenal, like, she was just being, like, never going into Santa Showdown, even though she basically volunteered during episode 3, like,
Yeah.
that's just, like,
And
shows
they
how
never put her in.
yeah, that's, like, shows how good her social game is, like, people trust
Oh,
her,
yeah.
like, they just don't wanna put her up for elimination, and
Yeah.
she's so like, every move she made was super strategic, she's, like, definitely one of the most strategic house guests, and
Oh, yeah.
players, and she's very good socially because these people actually wanted to play with her because obviously, like, a lot of the people on her original season were very gross to her,
Yeah, they were disgusting.
these people actually wanted to play with her and gave her a chance. And then
Yeah.
obviously she's good at comms, like she wins when like just anytime she needs it. And she's another triple threat, definitely. And she's definitely one of the greats. Her getting second is still incredible, like never being voted out of the game. It's just phenomenal, incredible, and amazing. Um and then her and Nicole just and then Nicole's game obviously was just very like she was such an underdog, especially in the finale. And I'm so proud of both of them. I adore both of them
Oh,
so
yeah.
much, and just and like I'm so proud of Taylor. I'm so proud of Nicole. I love them so much.
Yeah, they both were just really impressive to watch this
Oh yeah.
season. But I do think there's one more thing to read here.
Yeah, just a little bit here. Santa thanks all of them for helping him on this holly jolly journey, and now his sleigh is ready for the North Pole. And the North Pole is at peace, and there's only one thing to say, which is Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And then at the very end, they all partake then in singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas."
Yeah, that was a great way to wrap this up and really
Yeah, it was
ends what
cute,
just
wholesome.
ended up being such a great surprise of a show. I mean,
Oh
again,
yeah,
I think we need to just kind of go back to December 11th when we were just so not into the idea of reindeer games being a thing. I had no hope for this show whatsoever. I thought it was just
I
going to be a
know.
bunch of comps. I didn't think it was going to be exciting to watch. And it's because after a season like Big Brother 25, where so many comps were favored towards athletic men and it didn't really feel like anyone else had a shot, I kind of just expected that's how this was going to go. Like, yes, you can bring back Taylor, you can bring back Danielle Reyes, but what are they going to contribute? Are they going to be able to provide anything to this season other than disappointment? And it was the complete opposite of that. They were able to find this formula where, yes, the game, how you leave is determined by comps, but there is this incredible strategic element to it, whether it's choosing who goes into Santa Showdown or being in duos and having to pick your duo, or you having to choose between two people, but they're not the teams, they're one half of a team, and things like that. Like, things like that were just so great to see. This truly did live up to the moniker of expect the unexpected, which is not
Oh
something we
yeah,
can usually
definitely.
say in Big Brother. It's usually extremely predictable. This season, from start to finish, did not at all go the way I expected it to, and really just kind of kept me on my toes throughout, but it also kept the players on their toes throughout. And
Yeah.
that's what made this so exciting to watch. They couldn't predict what was going to happen every season, every week. So there was no possible way to game twists or try to, figure out a way to get past a certain round or something like that. They really did play the entire game, in a
Mhm.
way where they had to adapt every single round. They had to play every round differently. And it was just so much more exciting to watch that way. Seeing those that really weren't able to do it, like a Cody, like an Xavier, like a Cameron. Yes, Xavier made it to the end, but that's because of the Santa Showdown. That's not because of his, social and strategic game at all. But
Yeah.
then seeing other players just play completely different than how we've seen them before. Taylor, Josh, Nicole, three really great players that played so differently this season. And then seeing
Mhm.
Britney and
Yep.
Danielle come back after so many years and seeing them still have the amazing abilities in the DR, but also really killing it in challenges. Britney winning that snowflake puzzle is still
Oh,
just
so good.
incredible to me.
Oh, I love that so much.
Again, just so many amazing moments. It really was a show that played to the cast strengths. And I feel like that's just something we don't see enough of on Big Brother. A lot of the time we're seeing people were like, who are they? What is their story? I feel like everyone here had a clear story. I can tell
They
you how
did.
everyone did. I can tell you what didn't get them the win. Like, there's no one here where I'm like, I don't know how they played the game. And I feel like they did such a great job with that. Obviously, they only had 9 people, so it was much easier to edit in that way. But I mean, just we need to commend the editing this season because it's so much better than what we have been seeing up to this point. And then just from a production perspective, I mean, this was night and day compared to what we saw in Big Brother 25. There was
Yeah.
so much innovation, so many creative ideas. I mean, just where has this been? I still go back to the snowflake puzzle, just such a brilliant idea for a challenge. I need to see them implement that immediately. That is
I
easily some
know.
of the most riveting Big Brother we've had in a very long time. And it wasn't even Big Brother proper. So, like, it's crazy how much effort they put into this. I still firmly believe that they wanted to do something like this originally in 25 and they just weren't able to. So they turned it into this mini season of sorts and to where they were able to just kind of do whatever crazy shit they wanted. And it never felt like it was convoluted. Everything they did made sense. There wasn't a twist this season where I'm like, I don't understand why they did this thing. The only issue I really do have, I think, is that one comp they did in episode 5 that I just thought was a little bit unfair. But I mean, if this is what we're going to get moving forward, I mean, I feel like we're in very good hands with Big Brother 26. And I don't want to get too excited feeling like they're maybe turning over a new leaf, but like, I hope they do. I really hope they take the right lessons from this season, figure out what made it work. Why was this so effective and what was able to do? And it was because things were fair and equitable all across the board. It is so much more exciting to watch when the results are unpredictable like this. And it made for such a fun season all around. Even the episodes that felt a little bit rushed, like episode 5, for example, still was so exciting to watch just because of how
Yeah.
unpredictable things were throughout the entire run. So yeah, just
Oh,
all
yeah.
around, I really love this season a lot. I can't believe that I am sitting here saying that out of the Big Brother seasons we've covered, this is the best Big Brother season of the year. But that is the
Yes.
reality we're living in. This was just so much fun to watch. I had such a great time with it. I love what we got to see from the cast. I love the twists. Just hands down, some of the best Big Brother we've had in a very long time. And I would love to see them like continue to do this. They mentioned that this was, they mentioned in the episode, like, oh, this is the first year and things like that. I think they definitely are going to probably continue this. But if they do, I think it shouldn't be all the time. I think this is something they should do just every so often. It's kind of
I
like
agree.
this thing that's on the side. And I think if they're able to do that, they'll put a lot more effort into the actual show because again, I mean, Big Brother has felt creatively bankrupt for a very long time. And this felt like it just reignited our faith in the show, reignited that spark of why we enjoy Big Brother. That was very much shown throughout this entire season. And I just really hope they're able to take the right lessons from it. So yeah, I've gushed about enough. I really love this season a lot. I'm just so surprised by how much I ended up enjoying it. But yeah, easily one of my favorite reality shows we've covered in 2023. But Allie, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I honestly like love this show so much.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly like fine with like 6 episodes and like smaller casts
Yeah.
just cuz it makes it even more intense and exciting.
Yeah.
Um
And again, unpredictable. That's the one thing
yeah,
we need to
very
keep stressing.
unpredictable.
Very unpredictable.
Yeah, very unpredictable. Like literally the definition of expect the unexpected like you said. And like it's just every comp was fair besides like the one episode 5 was a little bit unfair this showdown, but I mean
Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't
still
love
a
that
fun
one.
comp. They just need to like make a little accommodations to it if they do it again.
Yeah.
Just for like people who are smaller, but it's still a fun
Yeah.
comp overall. And like I love these comps. They were all so much fun to watch. They were so
Mhm.
entertaining and just great. Um and I love like the Naughty or Nice. I love the Santa Showdown. I love Jingle
Yeah.
Bell Brawl. Like I love all the names they made it. It's just so cool. It's so
Yeah.
creative and such a
Even the
great
sets,
cast.
like, were just like incredible.
Oh yeah, such a great cast besides Cameron. He was just kind of there. He was probably just there for like, oh yeah, let's just pick somebody from
Yeah,
25.
that if they're gonna do this again, like, yes, get somebody from like you can get somebody from the season that just ended, but don't get the person that did the best in comps. Get the person that's
Yeah,
like the most iconic, like the best in the DRs,
exactly.
the person that everybody loved. Because I feel like that's where this show is at its best, is having all of these just like really chaotic and over the top players and seeing them put into these, crazy situations. I feel like
Yeah.
that's what made the show work so well.
Yeah, if they wanted to have a comp piece from season like 25, they should have just picked the winner Jag.
Yeah. I feel
Um,
like he would have been infinitely better, and I don't think he
oh yeah.
goes when he does. I think he
Mhm.
does a lot better.
I can see it too. But in that sense I could see Cody being first boot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably what would have happened.
Mhm. Or X if like he was in the I don't know, if I don't know. I
Well,
don't
I
who
mean, if
knows.
Frankie still wins that, it's not going to be Cody, so it probably would have
Yeah,
been X.
probably. But anyway, overall, it was so much fun to watch. The only like really issues I have are yeah, just like fixing up that one comp, and
Yeah,
just like I like when and like keeping the episodes longer, just because like we got to see more of their stories, which everyone did have a
yeah.
story, and we
I
obviously
think the
got to, and
first three.
obviously we got more strategy talk and game talk, everything, but like oh, go ahead.
I think the first three episodes were definitely stronger than the
Yes.
last three. I really enjoyed episode 4 a lot, but I did think it was a little bit rushed in some aspects. I think the first three were definitely like the most well paced. I think the show
Yeah.
really benefited from the longer length. And I think that was like
Definitely.
the one thing I will say, like, if they do this again, just do 90-minute episodes all the way through. It was so much
Mhm.
more. We got so much more out of
I
them, I felt like.
know. Yeah, keep the 90-minute episodes just like Survivor, because like, it really, like it's just it has way more of an effect.
Yeah.
But, like, overall, this show is such a treat, and it was just so much fun and just so creative. I hope they do it again because, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it just being a Christmas show and 6 episodes. Like, I think it's just because yeah, like, every so often is better than just, like, making it constant. But it's definitely one of the best reality shows we've covered this year. This and Claim to Fame, oh, top tier. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and like yeah, literally out of all the Big Brother seasons this year, this is definitely the best one.
Which is
Um,
crazy to say. I would have never
like
expected that in a
mhm.
million years.
Yeah, Reindeer Games and Claim to Fame, best reality shows this year. But yeah, overall,
Wait, what
loved
about
it.
Survivor 45?
Oh, I mean, and Survivor 45, but like I meant like Big Brother. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, Survivor
Yeah.
45.
I get what you meant. I get what you meant.
Yeah, Survivor 45, Claim to Fame, and Reindeer Games were the best
There
ones
you
for
go.
sure.
Yes.
But like just fantastic, top tier all around. Ugh, I love the show. I hope they bring it back and really just like yeah, just fix up those few issues, and then it'll be just it could probably go back to an A+. Because overall, I'd probably give the finale an A-, but also the show I'd give an A- overall.
Yeah, I'm probably right there with you on that. I think this was just so great to watch all throughout. I really enjoyed this show so
Me
much more than I
too.
expected to, and it was just such a huge delight. I think especially after 25 and how just kind of done we were and how over it we were after the season. This really was just such a great sort of like palate cleanser and a great way to kind of just
Yeah.
remind us of why we enjoy Big Brother in the first
Oh
place. This
yeah.
was a great way of doing that. Even though again it's completely its own thing. Also, I will say, did a great job of differentiating itself from Big Brother. Like really did feel like its own thing and I enjoyed that a lot. And that's the other reason why I don't say Nicole is a two-time winner because it's a completely different game. So, yeah, all
Definitely.
around really enjoyed this. Crazy how all of the Big Brother spinoffs have had female winners. I hope that
Oh,
continues
we love
because we
it.
love to see that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for our coverage of Reindeer Games, and that's also it for our podcast for 2023.
I
This
know.
was yeah,
It's
this I think
wild.
this was probably our most consistent year in terms of podcasts. If we podcast about a show, we ended it. We didn't like stop anything, which I'm really proud of us with. We were very consistent with our podcast this year. We
Oh,
covered
yeah.
quite a few shows, and I think it was a really fun time getting to do that. And I just look forward to seeing how 2024 ends up going. We don't have
Same.
as many reality shows probably because the writers and actor strike is over, but we do have some things to
Oh,
definitely look
also,
forward to.
yeah, literally in my new planner I just got for Christmas, I put something in here for January. I said it's for January to do season reviews of reality shows Kevin and I have to catch up on for podcasts.
Yes, that is something we will definitely be doing. There's a lot of shows that we didn't get to talk about that we will definitely talk about, but the ones that we started, like I said, we did end up finishing, which I'm very happy about that we were able to do that. Heading into 2024, I mean, we have Survivor 46, we have BB Can, we have Deal or No Deal Island.
I
I don't know what the
know.
hell that's going to be, but we will be watching because it sounds really stupid and
It
I want to
does.
cover it. So, and
And then
then, I mean,
obviously, and then in January, we're probably gonna start doing like we'll probably watch the Traders and do a season
yeah,
review of that. We obviously
yeah,
have buddy games to do.
yeah,
What else? The Mole, the Circle.
yeah.
Anything I'm missing here? Oh, House of Villains,
House of
obviously.
Villains.
Anything
Yeah, which
else?
also just ended.
What was that one? Surviving Paradise or something? Squid
Oh,
Game, the
yeah, we don't have to watch
challenge,
that. I heard that was bad, but yeah.
and then Squid Game and all that
Secret
stuff. Like,
Chef, if we ever
oh
finish
yeah,
that.
Secret Chef was another one we have to finish.
I did not enjoy that. But
I mean, we'll probably just finish those and then do a review whenever.
yeah,
Like, we'll probably start doing them in January. It's kind of like
yeah,
that's gonna be like when we're kind of in free time.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because we do have a little bit until Survivor and BB Can come out. I think our main focus is probably going to be Traders because Traders season 2 comes out very soon. So, and
Yeah.
that cast is just elite. I can't wait to
Oh,
see
so
how that
excited.
ends up going. But yeah, other
But
than that,
yeah,
I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything you want to say about our podcasting this year and how everything went?
yeah, definitely. I'm just so happy we were very consistent with this podcast this year. We did so
Yeah,
much. We covered so many shows. The only time we fall behind is if we're just busy with like work and different things. So we'll just
yeah,
kind of like do 2 episodes or whatever, 2 or 3 episodes instead of just one, like weekly. Sometimes we'll just be like, okay, let's just do 2 at a time or 3. But
yeah.
mostly we were very consistent and just always on track, and we're probably going to do, hopefully we're the same in 2024. I'm excited to
Yeah,
see
we'll see.
I'm excited to see where 2024 takes us. Excited to do like our season reviews
Yes.
and then other shows, of course. That's going to be fun. And if anyone obviously wants to be a guest, just hit us up. We're always
We didn't
down
have
for
many
guests.
guests this season, but I'd love to get back into that, when we
Yes.
can.
Yeah, because we had 2 people join us for the Survivor live react for the
Yes, that
finale.
was great. Which if you
So
haven't
good.
watched that video, I highly suggest it. Definitely one of our most entertaining in a while.
It was great.
We had Brian Weber, we had Mike Jones there. Both of them
Oh
were
yeah.
so much fun, and I really enjoyed how that live react went. So
Oh yeah, me too. It was so good, and I'm just excited to see what happens in the new year. 2023 was
yeah.
definitely a roller coaster, but
Yeah.
it's
I
been
don't want to get into it, but
yeah,
yes, very
yeah,
much.
it's definitely had its like good and iffy moments, good and bad. But I'm just hoping 2024 brings out a lot of good things and positivity, and I'm very excited.
Yeah. But with that, that is pretty much it. We've covered everything we needed to. As always, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of Reindeer Games overall. And also, if you haven't checked out if you liked our coverage for Reindeer Games, you can check out our other podcasts for this season. We did Stars on Mars. We did Claim to Fame season 2. We did BB Can 11, which like fucking nobody watched. We did Big Brother 25 and Survivor 44 and
Bring
45.
back
You can
live
check out
feeds
all
for
of
Big
those.
Brother Canada 12.
Yes, please, God, I hope so. I really hope that is the only other thing I will say. Do not take the lessons from this. Let's just like get rid of live feeds because again, this didn't need live feeds because of the format. Like Big
Yeah,
Brother
exactly.
needs the live feeds. This didn't because like literally, if they were to do them, half it would be kittens playing because they weren't even in the house sometimes. So
Yeah, if they had live feeds for Reindeer Games, it'd probably just be like for like the kittens or something, they'd probably just play like another Big Brother season or whatever.
or they'll just show kittens. Which I mean, we
We
love the kitties, but
we do.
we don't love sneezing when we see the kitties, but we do love the kitties. But But yeah, other than that, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, and also we will see you in 2024 whenever our first podcast comes out. We will try to keep you updated as well as we can. I know we're not always great with posting things. We kind of do it last minute, but we will try to, stay on top of things. And I did mention this before, but I'll say it again. If you like our videos, go over to my main channel on January 2nd. I will be doing a live stream to kind of just like open up the new year, kind of just move forward, start fresh. This was a weird year for me on YouTube, and I really do want to try to move forward. And I think this is the way to definitely do that. So you can look forward to that. Also on our main channel, it just came out. We did a Christmas movie reviews for 2023 and also talked about a show that's also Christmas related that is not nearly as good as Reindeer Games, the Santa Clauses. I never thought that Reindeer Games was going to be the show that made me feel the most, that gave me that Christmas cheer. But yet here we are. People crying on a fucking hamster wheel gave me joy. Yeah, let's
I know,
go.
right?
But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, couples who podcast together, stay together. We will see you guys in the new year.
Yes, love you guys and have a great and safe holiday.